I'm Tset, and this is a Tea Time Lapse. I've drawn Twitch streamer Arakuya and some of the characters on their stream on this channel before. Not that long ago, Arakuya shared guidelines for how to make your own Fruit Demon character, and so it seemed about time for me to make Tset into a Fruit Demon. I figured I would probably do either mango juice or strawberry apple juice, since those are both juices I like, and also I thought that orange or pink would go well with my signature blue. And I was in a bit of a funk, so I decided to go with my Animal Crossing anatomy style instead of my usual one. While looking at Arakuya's Pinterest board for what Dandelion Fields fashion looks like, I found these jackets by, I think, Zimmerman. It's not a brand I know anything about, but I thought the jackets were cool, and so I incorporated them into the outfit. The gathering from sort of an armpit area up to the collar is interesting, and I like the bows. I think they're very feminine and cute. I struggled with the skirt shapes for a while because I wasn't sure how much material I wanted to be in the skirt and how tightly gathered I wanted it to be, so I redraw it a few times. Here you can see the way that I break down the shapes of the feet. I'm still getting the knack of drawing my Sona's new horns. I don't quite have the hang of it, but I'm sure I'll get there with more practice. The main mistake I currently make is just placing them incorrectly on the skull. In this picture, I'm placing them too far apart, too sort of over on the sides of the head, and I fix it a bit later on. I'm not 100% satisfied, but sometimes you just have to let these things go. As always, you are far more critical of your own work than anyone else is. When I was coming up with the outfit, I was originally going to have more patterns on the fabrics, but ended up getting rid of them because I felt like the image was busy enough without them in the end. Fruit demons don't have fur on the end of their tails, so I came up with a shape on the end that I think evokes the feeling of fur instead. If you're unfamiliar with Arakuya's streaming world, this guy I'm holding hands with is one of the creatures that you find over near the bus stop in the Dandelion Fields. I drew the six-armed one in one of my previous videos. The one that you can kind of see the intestines inside. There's like some slight body horror that goes on in Arakuya's world. Nothing actually off-putting, but just enough to be a little weird. I am forever messing around with the angles of the far ear when I do a 3/4 view, only to cover it up with hair in the end. I did these star-shaped earrings and zipper pulls to be reminiscent of Arakuya's Konpetal character, the dandelion creature that I drew 3 of for Arakuya's model debut. I tried to make the juice receptacle on the tail look reminiscent of Tset's eye sparkles. I originally thought that the 4-armed guy was not supposed to have feet, but then I was looking at my reference images again, and I think maybe they are supposed to have feet, so I do add those in later. Technically, I could have just asked Arakuya, but yeah, I don't know why I didn't. Listen, I'm slowly becoming a more social creature. I like how these boots turned out. I didn't base them on anything. I ended up giving them these little tooth shapes on the soles that I think are cool. I didn't want the background of this picture to just be a solid color, but I also knew that I was too lazy to do a full background, so I decided to do these shapes that I would put bits of the dandelion field in. Some charms for the camera wristband. And of course I've used reference for my hands again. I do think I made them a little too realistic for the face that I drew here though. Honestly, maybe the way I draw everything is a little too realistic for the way I draw Animal Crossing faces. Oh, if you're unfamiliar, the reason why I call this my Animal Crossing style is because it is the style I developed for drawing my Animal Crossing characters. Okay, so originally I was just gonna draw the dandelion fields, but then I realized that I didn't want to draw a bunch of dandelions, so instead I decided to draw these guys that are seen floating around the bus stop. And then I could just let the dandelion fields be yellow and everyone would kind of believe me on it and not worry about the fact that I didn't actually draw any dandelions. And this way, I have additional floaty stuff to give a sense of movement through the picture. It's a win-win. Luckily, the day that I was drawing the line art happened to be a decent day for drawing curls, so I didn't have to put it off and was able to just get it done all in one day. There's a lot of detail here, but I make a bunch of it less dominant by making it a lighter color later on. And now it's time for flats. The eyebrows start out blue because I sometimes make bangs kind of semi-transparent, and this allows me to see how, visible the eyebrows are through the hair. Sometimes I just fill in the eyebrows on the same layer as the hair after I do the transparency, but I did it a different way this time. And this is the point when I decide that I'm gonna be mango juice. My usual blues look a bit dull in Arakuya's palette, so I end up making them a little bit more vibrant later on. I play around a lot with this main background color before I get something that I'm happy with. I make these guys significantly lighter in color than they are on Arakuya's stream because I don't want them to fight against the tail for dominance. Ugh, accidental tangent I'd never realized while working on the piece. It's fine, don't worry about it. Okay, yes, so I did attempt this pattern before I decided to just delete it. I think maybe if I had done it as just outlines, it would have worked better. Oh, and I consider giving the camera a flash, but decide that I don't like how much of the camera it covers up and so delete it as well. Sometimes you just gotta try things. And now on to shading, the part of the process where I never know what to talk about. Today we are doing purple shadows. I generally use Max U's Gouache Gritty Bold brush for my shading. I think the brush I use for line art is just a default Procreate brush. It's called Shale Brush. I've definitely tweaked it though. Be warned though, if you use that for line art, you cannot use Procreate's reference layer tool to fill stuff. That is the reason why I have to draw the outlines on all of my flats. I like all these halftone dots I've added to the image, but they do get lost when you zoom out, so maybe I should have done them bigger. And adding a yellow bounce light. Love a bounce light color, and it makes sense because she's in the dandelion fields. I really didn't have to change T-Set's horns very much to make her into a juice Sona, because she already has glass horns, I just needed to fill them with juice. I did alter the tips so that they are no longer pronged because I thought that looked better with the metallic capping. Embarrassingly, it took me so long to remember the white strands in T-Set's hair that I actually posted the images to social media without them. And here's the final image. Thank you so much for watching.